Number one in your heart, Caitlin Elizabeth Clark.
Get your order.
Whatever you want, it's on him.
Yeah.
You're my opponent.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God, it's Caitlin Elizabeth Clark. What are we gonna do?
Oh my gosh.
I spent 2 days with her and was not hugged.
And I gotta say, I don't think Caitlin Clark gets enough credit for her humor because this episode was riddled with it.
Something just dropped on Netflix that's got the entire sports world buzzing. Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in women's basketball, sat down with David Letterman. What she shared, equal parts shocking, hilarious, and deeply inspiring.
She is highly likable. I think that lends itself to her popularity as she comes across as somebody that's really just respectful, likable. There's other players out there that just don't come across that way.
For the first time, fans got a glimpse of the real Caitlin Clark, not the athlete, not the headline maker, but just her, completely herself and off the court.
If you're a big Caitlin Clark fan, there is a lot of stuff in here that she has said in other interviews.
From sharing laughs with Letterman at a local donut shop to opening up about childhood battles, emotional struggles in college, and how she handles WNBA trash talk, this interview revealed a side of Caitlin Clark no one saw coming.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin.
And yes, she finally tackled the big question. Is she being targeted in the WNBA? What she said might surprise you, and it could have major implications for her future.
Number one factor in her popularity is her ability and how entertaining she is to watch. That's why she's become internationally popular. That's why the record books have her name at the top of them.
Stick with me, because I'm about to break down everything Caitlin Clark said, from her laugh-out-loud moments to the most powerful life lessons she dropped. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. And hey, if you're a real Caitlin Clark fan, prove it right now. Drop Caitlin Goat in the comments. Let's see how many true fans are tuning in. But wait, there's more. We've got exclusive Caitlin Clark fan gear linked below. Grab yours, wear it proud, and support Caitlin like the champ she is. Here's the fun part. Snap a pic in your gear and send it to the email on screen. We'll feature some of your photos right here on the channel. Because this isn't just a video, it's a community of real Caitlin Clark fans. From the very first scene of a Netflix special, Caitlin let her guard down and gave fans a rare look at the person behind the player, her sharp sense of humor, quick wit, and laid-back charm. David Letterman kicked things off by taking her to Long's Bakery, a legendary spot in Indianapolis. And this wasn't just a casual donut run. Letterman went full TV mode, telling the entire bakery it was all on him. The vibe? Electric. Fans swarmed them. Kids, parents, diehard basketball lovers, all lining up for pictures. And Caitlin? She handled it like a pro, cracking jokes, smiling for selfies, and showing just how down-to-earth she really is.
She signed my jersey! I'm so happy, I'm crying, I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
When Letterman joked about ordering a Bloody Mary at a donut shop, Caitlin didn't skip a beat. She burst out laughing and matched his energy perfectly. But behind all the laughs and light-hearted moments is someone who's been fiercely competitive her entire life. She shared a hilarious story from her childhood. Every Halloween, she would sprint from house to house just to collect more candy than anyone else. That fire to win? It's been in her since day one. And it didn't stop there. She also talked about how she begged her dad to spray paint a three-point line on their driveway so she could practice deep logo threes like the pros she looked up to. But her dad didn't just paint a line. He went all in and actually tore up part of the driveway to make it happen. That's the kind of dedication her family brought to the table. And the moment she realized she was becoming a star, you could feel how much that meant, not just to her, but to everyone who helped her get there.
Letterman has actually been a fan of Caitlin since her Iowa days. They go over her breakout game against Michigan, where she drills 4 3-pointers in 6 minutes.
In final 6 minutes, you hit 4
She also opened up about her breakout performance against Michigan while playing for Iowa, a game that put her on the map. In just 6 minutes, Caitlin drained 4 3-pointers and racked up 21 points, bringing her team back into contention, even though they ultimately came up short. But for Caitlin, it wasn't about the final score. It was about that moment, seeing herself on SportsCenter's top 10 for the very first time. That's when it all started to feel real.
She seemed pretty humbled by the gesture, and she basically was saying she never expected to get where she was. She never expected to see people wearing her jersey, and she actually exceeded all her own expectations.
That was her I made it moment. The same SportsCenter she used to stay up late watching as a kid was now showing her highlights. And then came one of the wildest stories from her time at Iowa, a scrimmage where she absolutely went off and put on a show for the ages.
Caitlin Clark got asked about this by David Letterman.
We have a practice team that's just all.
I think the key is this squad was down by 15 to these guys, and they came back and won it.
Caitlin told Letterman about a jaw-dropping moment during a scrimmage at Iowa. She dropped 22 points in just 2 minutes against the boys' practice squad, nailing 5 straight three-pointers. The gym was electric. A visiting high school girls basketball team was watching from the sidelines, literally jumping out of their seats and going wild.
The practice session has taken on near mythological proportions in the 5 years since it was played in Iowa City. ESPN's Wright Thompson wrote about it for a March 2024 profile of Clark, talking to teammates, coaches, and student managers who witnessed the performance.
Caitlin admitted even she couldn't believe what was happening that day. And to this day, she still loves teasing those practice players about the beatdown she gave them. But behind the laughs, the Halloween candy sprints, and the viral highlight reels, there's another side to Caitlin Clark. The emotional challenges, the leadership lessons, and the moments when her fiery personality almost got the best of her. And that's exactly what we're diving into next. Caitlin has always been known for her killer instinct on the court, that relentless drive to win. But what many people don't see is how that same competitive fire was sometimes tough to manage, especially early in her career. In the Netflix interview, she got real about some of her most vulnerable moments, times when her passion to win clashed with her responsibility as a team leader. It's in those raw, honest reflections that we see just how much she's grown, not just as a player, but as a person.
The women in the WNBA have had years to work on their physicality, and she did mention how in the offseason, that was what she was focusing on, getting bigger to go up against these more experienced, more yoked players.
One story that really stood out was a powerful reminder that even the greatest athletes face emotional battles. Caitlin shared a moment from her Iowa practice when everything went wrong. She was playing poorly, frustration building up, not with her teammates, but with herself. In that moment, instead of staying on the court, she walked straight off, not saying a word to anyone. At the time, she thought she was doing the right thing, protecting her teammates from seeing her frustration or anger. But when she later sat down with her coaches to watch the footage, they didn't hold back. They told her, "That's selfish. That's not how a leader acts." They explained that walking off sent the wrong message, isolating her from the team and making them feel abandoned. This is where Iowa's head coach, Lisa Bluder, played a pivotal role in Caitlin's growth. Coach Bluder didn't want to suppress Caitlin's competitive fire. She embraced it. But she also understood that true leadership required balance. Bluder famously told Caitlin, "You don't say whoa to a racehorse." In other words, you don't stifle someone's natural drive and energy. Instead, you teach them how to channel it for the benefit of the team.
There's so many players who cite you as an inspiration for their games, including Caitlin Clark, who's just absolutely a phenomenon in college. What's that next step like for her?
Next steps, gosh, in this generation, right? You have, I think, just so many more challenges of how to handle yourself as an adult, right? You go through that whirlwind of being a senior in college, transitioning into the W. And then the next step is how to become just an even better leader. And so much of leadership, I think, is listening and learning. And hopefully the more she can get connected to vets in the league and just different people and coaches and anyone that she can glean wisdom from of how to just continue to learn how to be as a connected and inspiring leader as she can be. And a lot of that is walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So she's already on her way, but, continuing to have fun, continuing to anticipate how people are going to try to stop her and being prepared as she can be for next season.
Caitlin admitted that learning the balance between her competitive fire and leadership was a process, but one she had to go through. Over time, she became not only the star player but also the emotional leader her teammates could rely on, whether in victory or defeat. Even in the light-hearted moments with David Letterman, her competitive spirit was on full display. When they went duck-pin bowling, a smaller, harder version of bowling, Caitlin was laser-focused on beating him. She even joked about not wanting to give him a high five after a good roll because, in her mind, he was the opponent. That's just how Caitlin Clark is wired. Whether it's a championship game or a friendly bowling match, she plays to win. This part of the interview revealed something deeper to fans. Greatness isn't just about talent. It's about emotional control, learning how to lift others up, and realizing that leadership isn't about perfection. It's about being present. Caitlin Clark has truly mastered this lesson, though she learned it the hard way. But her journey didn't stop there. In fact, the toughest challenges were still ahead. The physicality, the controversies, and the constant pressure of living in the spotlight all awaited her in the WNBA. And in the next part of the interview, Caitlin finally addresses everything, including the one question everyone keeps asking: is she being targeted in the WNBA? By the time Caitlin Clark made it to the WNBA, she wasn't just a basketball player. She was a national icon. But with fame comes immense pressure, and as the face of a new generation, constant criticism was never far behind.
He was asked about Caitlin Clark.
Coach Krzyzewski, listen to what he said.
Yeah, well, she's terrific, and it'd be easy to build something on her because she's the best thing she does is pass. She's a magical passer, and she has a great feel for the game. So, I mean, what her coach did, I would have done exactly what she did. Make sure she handles the ball a lot, and she'll make everybody better. And what I was amazed with at how she's handled all the defenses, and then when she got into the WNBA, some of the negativity that was out there or jealousies. And I think she's just been remarkable. She's a really good basketball player. Yeah.
During her Netflix interview with David Letterman, Caitlin finally addressed some of the biggest questions and controversies surrounding her career, especially the heated topic of whether she's being targeted in the WNBA. So, is Caitlin Clark being targeted? She handled this question with the maturity of a true professional, making it clear that she doesn't believe players are going after her maliciously. Instead, what's really happening is the natural transition every rookie faces, a jump in physicality and intensity when moving from college to the pros. Caitlin explained that WNBA players have spent years building strength, skill, and toughness. It's a whole new level of basketball. And that's exactly why she's focused on getting stronger during the offseason. She understands that in the WNBA, you don't just show up. You have to earn your respect in every single game.
Prevailing narrative that has been created around this season's WNBA play is that it's the league versus Caitlin Clark, and that is just absolutely false. It is unfair to the women that have been there building this league to this moment so that Caitlin Clark's popularity could take it to the next level.
There's a method to this madness. When given a chance to talk about Caitlin Clark, they're always going to racialize it and try to demonize Caitlin Clark's fan base.
Monica has figured out a way to make the WNBA relevant and profitable long term. The lady from the BBC, she seems to be asking Monica McDougal how the WNBA can maintain their momentum from last season. There's an easy answer to that question. More than likely, they can't.
Two things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling, and it has to be encouraged by our families.
Yeah.
To me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games. But I think Caitlin represented, and again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not. We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think, same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons.
Where are these Angel Reese fans? When I see Chicago Bravado games on TV, the only things I see are missed layups and empty seats.
Caitlin tried to flop. She tried to flop on what happened. Like, that little shoulder bump, it was not that serious. Okay, Caitlin, I need you to be all the way serious and for real, okay? You fell down, the first thing you did is, woo! and you look to the damn ref to give you what? That's what happened. That's what she always does, right? She's always falling to the floor, and then people acting like it's mad hard. Pay attention to what she did in college. That is what she did. She's from the LeBron school, the Luka school, the Harden school. They try to sell fouls, right? I would say that her coach did not do a good job preparing her for the physicality of what was to come and what to expect in the WNBA. So yeah, I'm kind of saying like, this is not that deep. It's a little hip check.
For me, if Rookie of the Year was picked today, I give it to Angel.
What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after Caitlin Clark, but no, we're just playing one of the best players that's in this league.
We saw what happened last year. Caitlin Clark was targeted.
Like, that's been a part of the game. The game has always been physical.
I know what physical basketball looks like.
Like, Caitlin Clark doesn't happen entirely organically. There's a push. What Angel Reese did, she created what people truly need, which is a rivalry.
Angel Reese has done that and did that for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, and I do think she helped. Without Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark wouldn't be as big as she is.
Caitlin Clark also blew up before the Angel Reese thing. That is a myth. She blew up before. Go look at the ratings for the games before then. Go look at the attendance for the games before then. It was already an organic thing.
If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player set it. If Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be. I set the record in 5 games, right?
Yeah.
Because back then, we had a first-round bye.
Oh,
so we
okay.
didn't get to play, I didn't get that 6 games. So I set the record in 5 games.
Took her extra game.
Well, I'm just saying.
You can say that.
No, listen. If I have 6 games,
the record's different.
well, I'm gonna have another 30. But I don't really care what the record is, who has the record.
During her Netflix interview with David Letterman, Caitlin opened up about some of the biggest questions and controversies surrounding her career, especially the hot topic of whether she's being targeted in the WNBA. When asked if she was being targeted, Caitlin answered with the maturity of a true professional. She made it clear that she doesn't believe players are targeting her with any ill intent. What she's facing is simply the jump in physicality and intensity that every rookie encounters when transitioning from college to the pros. She explained that WNBA players have spent years honing their strength, skill, and toughness. It's a whole new level of basketball. And that's exactly why she's been focusing on getting stronger in the offseason. Caitlin knows that in the WNBA, respect has to be earned with every game you play. Things definitely get heated on the court, though, and Caitlin shared one of the funniest moments from her rookie season, her trash talk battle with WNBA legend Diana Taurasi. During a physical game, Taurasi fouled Caitlin pretty hard from behind, and Caitlin confronted her, pointing out that it wasn't even a play on the ball. The two went back and forth with words, neither backing down. But what happened next was a perfect example of basketball rivalry at its best. Taurasi walked up to Caitlin and simply said, "I just love you." Caitlin replied, "I love you too." It was a moment of mutual respect between two generations of players, showing that while the game is fierce, it's also built on admiration and legacy. But Caitlin didn't just talk about scoring. She talked about what truly sets her apart on the court, her passing ability and court vision. She explained that her ability to anticipate plays before they happen comes from her high basketball IQ, a skill that's almost becoming a lost art in today's game. Caitlin credits soccer for helping her understand angles, timing, and passing into space, skills that make her a nightmare for defenders. She also praised her Indiana Fever teammate Aliyah Boston, noting how valuable it was to have someone on the team who had just gone through the rookie experience herself the year before. Letterman asked Caitlin if the WNBA had goons, like in men's basketball, whose job is to protect the stars. Caitlin laughed it off, saying the WNBA doesn't operate like that. There are only 144 roster spots in the league, and everyone is there because they can play at the highest level. While her teammates have her back, Caitlin emphasized that every player has earned their spot based on skill, not intimidation. In one of the most respectful moments of the interview, Caitlin also talked about LeBron James, calling him the greatest basketball player of all time. She admired how LeBron handled the immense pressure of skipping college and entering the NBA straight out of high school with expectations weighing heavily on him. For Caitlin, that journey resonated deeply, as the pressure to perform, inspire, and lead is something she understands all too well. Caitlin's humor shone again when Letterman's wife asked if a college marketing degree helped in her career. Caitlin laughed, nodding to the fact that she earned over $3.1 million in nil deals in college and now has huge endorsements with Nike, Wilson, Gatorade, and more. But beyond the money and fame, what stood out most in the interview was Caitlin Clark's authenticity. She's fearless, competitive, and, most importantly, real. And that's what we'll leave you with in the final part of this video. At the end of the day, this Netflix interview wasn't just about basketball. It wasn't about records, trophies, or viral highlights. It was about the heart of Caitlin Clark, the competitor, the leader, the young woman who turned every challenge into fuel for greatness. From racing house to house for Halloween candy to dropping 22 points in 2 minutes at Iowa, to holding her ground against WNBA legends like Diana Taurasi, Caitlin's story proves that success is built on passion, hard work, and staying true to who you are. She's not afraid to laugh at herself, admit her mistakes, or embrace the spotlight because she knows she's earned every bit of it. As Caitlin herself said, the WNBA is physical, intense, and a league where you have to prove yourself every night. If this interview showed us anything, it's that Caitlin Clark isn't backing down from anyone. In fact, she's just getting started. Now, I want to hear from you. What was your favorite moment from Caitlin's Netflix interview? Was it her hilarious stories, her emotional leadership lessons, or the trash talk battle with Diana Taurasi? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Trust me, Caitlin Clark's story is far from over, and we'll be here to cover every moment of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.